Rhyme, rhyme, rhyme along with me. Nursery rhymes, songs and games. It's so much fun, you'll see. So thank you for joining me this afternoon, and I get to talk to you about one of my favorite topics, which is nursery rhymes. Let's see, I think, yes, I'm live. Let me tell you why I like nursery rhymes. They have been around for hundreds of years, and that's proof that they are something that children get engaged in and something that children enjoy. Oh, my connection is weak. Well, it's rainy here today, so I'll just do the best I can. Nursery rhymes are also good because they develop a lot of skills: oral language, auditory memory, phonological awareness, rhyme, rhythm, alliteration. They also motivate children to want to learn how to read. And a lot of speech and language pathologists remind us it's important to say these rhymes over and over and over again. It helps them with their fluency. And brain researchers are telling us now that memorizing short things like nursery rhymes and poems are actually good for children's brains because it helps with their short-term memory. Now, I know there are some adults that think nursery rhymes are stereotypic and they're violent, which they can be, but it takes a grown-up to figure that out. Children don't hear that. They hear the rhythm, they hear the rhyme, they hear the music of the language, just the surface of the language. And so that's what I want to share with you today. Another good thing about nursery rhymes is you can start doing these when children are infants and toddlers, as you change their diapers, or as you clean up the room, or as you are riding in the car. That's a great time to say nursery rhymes. And then as children get older, there are so many ways that you can adapt nursery rhymes to tie in some of your skills and standards that you might be working on. So one of my favorite studies was reported in Mem Fox's book, Reading Magic, and she's an Australian author. She talked about a study that was done in Australia that showed that 4-year-olds who knew 8 nursery rhymes were the best readers in 3rd grade. Now, that's kind of interesting, isn't it? Because as old-fashioned as they are, it reminds us again that if think about a 4-year-old, if a 4-year-old can say 8 nursery rhymes, they have auditory memory, they have oral language, they've got that phonological awareness, that rhyme, rhythm, alliteration, and they have print knowledge. Obviously, somebody's read to them a lot, and they know how to go top to bottom and left to right, and they know how the illustration matches the text of the words. So if I were a classroom teacher, I would probably take one nursery rhyme each week, and I would put it on a poster and read it multiple times during the week, at least once a day, and some skills that you can tie in. You can clap out the syllables. So let's just take Humpty Dumpty. Humpty Dumpty sat on a wall. Humpty Dumpty had a great fall. So you could clap out the syllables. You could also have children identify the words that rhyme. You can track the print from left to right. Can they find some words that they can read? Vocabulary is a great thing to tie in with your nursery rhymes because some of those words, like Little Miss Muffet sat on a tuffet. I don't know what a tuffet is. What can we do? Oh, we can look at the picture. She's sitting on a chair. Do you think that's a tuffet? I mean, all sorts of skills that you can help empower children to try and figure out these words, or you can always look them up in a dictionary, model using a dictionary to look up the words. One thing I like to do is with rhymes is I like to say them the wrong way and let the children correct me. And when they hear me say it wrong, they get to go, say what? So I might say, Little Miss Muffet sat on a pumpkin. And they would say what? And I'd say, well, you say it the right way. And then they would repeat, Little Miss Muffet sat on a tuffet. And it's just a good way to get them to use their oral language and to listen. Another thing you can do with nursery rhymes is leave out a word. Jack and Jill went up to fetch a pail of. And so children can supply the missing word, and that's going to help them with context clues later on when they are reading. Another thing that you might want to do is with the nursery rhymes is you can sing them to some different tunes. And so the first one I'm going to sing, I'm not going to tell you what tune this is yet, but all nursery rhymes can be sung to this tune. So while children are washing their hands, or while you're waiting for them to join you for an activity, instead of wasting the time, just start clapping like this. And if you clap like this, you get both sides of the brain going. Humpty Dumpty sat on a wall. Humpty Dumpty had a great fall. All the king's horses and all the king's men couldn't put Humpty together again. Hey diddle diddle, the cat and the fiddle, the cow jumped over the moon. The little dog laughed to see such sport, and the dish ran away with the spoon. Did you figure out that tune? Yeah, it's 99 bottles of, I'll say, pop on the wall. Another tune that you can use is this one, and I won't tell you this one either, but I used to take my grandchildren's hands and we would rock back and forth as we did this. Jack and Jill went up the hill to fetch a pail of water. Jack fell down and broke his crown, and Jill came tumbling after. Do you know that tune? Yankee Doodle. All nursery rhymes can be sung to Yankee Doodle. You notice I like to keep children's hands busy and have them move a little bit when we do these rhymes. That one with Yankee Doodle, I was doing that with my granddaughter when she was like 4, and her brother, who's 5 years older, said, I want to do that with you too. And it reminded me, we're so busy trying to give children things we didn't have, we're failing to give them what we did have. We're in such a rush to push technology that we just need to remember sometimes they have one chance to be a child and to take advantage of those little teachable moments and do some of these fun nursery rhymes with them. Now, if you're like me, sometimes when you might say, oh, what's a nursery rhyme? And you just go blank. A good thing to do is to put the titles of the nursery rhymes, or you could even put the words on these on circles. And I call these rhyme pops. So as you introduce different rhymes, you could put them on the rhyme pops, and you put these in a can on your desk or a cup, and then when you've got a few extra minutes, you can let different children pull out a rhyme pop, and then they can lead their classmates in saying that rhyme. So it's good for them to get up and have a leadership position, and always gives you something to do if you've got a few extra minutes. Now, if I were in charge of the world, which I'm not, I would do this with all of my younger children. I would have a nursery rhyme book. And each week I would take a different nursery rhyme, maybe the one we're working on the big chart, and I would have each child bring in a composition book. You can use a spiral ring notebook. You can just use a pocket folder. And I would run off the words to the nursery rhyme we're focusing on that week. Increase the font size. Let them cut it out. Glue it on the left side and then illustrate it on the right side. That way you're getting them to use some of their small motor skills or cutting skills. You're also encouraging them to go from left to right. Sorry, it's backwards on the screen. And then I would let them illustrate it. I would not give them pictures to color. When you give them pictures to color, you take away their imagination. But with a blank page, they're able to use comprehension skills and just draw whatever it means to them. Even if it's a scribble, that is fine. That's the beginning of it. It's all good. So we would use this nursery rhyme book during the week. We would get out our books and we would practice reading it together. Of course, most of them have memorized it and we're just saying it, but that's a good thing. I could also use these with some of the older children to let them highlight sight words on the word wall. They could find punctuation and circle it, do a lot of other activities with this. The good thing about this nursery rhyme book is each Friday you send this home and you have the children practice saying the rhyme to their family or to a neighbor or anybody they could get to listen to them. Somebody interrupted me with a phone call. So anyway, back to the nursery rhyme book. Do you see you've got that whole literacy cycle going with something like this, and you've put a book in the home. Some of your children don't have books in their home, so what a powerful thing to be able to do. Another thing that you might want to do is you might want to have a nursery rhyme club. So you make a poster and it's the nursery rhyme club, and any child who can get up and say a nursery rhyme gets a membership card to the nursery rhyme club, and they get to take this home and share it with their families. Now, if you are wondering where you can get copies of some of these things, the next couple days on my blog, drjeanandfriends.blogspot.com. I will have patterns for these different things that you can download and use in your classroom. Another idea that I wanted to share with you are some crafts that you can do with children that go along with nursery rhymes. I've got a little pattern for, it looks like a gingerbread boy pattern, and you cut it out and they draw Jack on one side and Jill on the other side, and it's so much fun because they can't figure out how they can make it be a boy on one side and a girl on the other side, and then you can use it for this rhyme. And I've got a couple additional verses for Jack and Jill. So show me Jack and show me Jill. Jack and Jill went up the hill to fetch a pail of water. Jack fell down and broke his crown, and Jill came tumbling after. Then up got Jack and said to Jill, as in his arms he took her, "You're not hurt, brush off that dirt, now let's go fetch that water." So Jack and Jill went up the hill to fetch a pail of water. They brought it back to Mother dear, who thanked her son and daughter. And so I've got the little pattern and the additional words to Jack and Jill. Do you see how much more meaningful it is when you engage children with their hands and do some of these things? Humpty Dumpty, real easy thing to do is to give children an oval. Let them tear scrap paper and glue it on Humpty Dumpty. You can use this for positional words. Can you put him on your head? Can you put him under your chin? Can you put him on your shoulder? So all of our math skills with the positional words. You could also say this additional rhyme to Humpty Dumpty. Humpty Dumpty sat on a wall. Humpty Dumpty had a great fall. All the king's horses and all the king's men couldn't put Humpty together again. But the good children got some tape and some glue, and they fiddled and faddled till he looked like new. Then they carefully placed him back on the wall and said, "Humpty Dumpty, please don't fall." I also have a pattern for Baa Baa Black Sheep. Baa Baa Black Sheep, have you any wool? Yes, sir, 3 bags full. Baa Baa Green Sheep, have you any wool? Yes, sir, 3 bags full. Baa Baa Yellow Sheep, have you any wool? So I just cut the sheep and the tops of the bags of the wool out of the file folder, and it's just so good for colors and for alliteration. You could also use this to dismiss children from a group activity. When you see the color that you were wearing on the sheet, then you can get in line to go out to play or whatever it might be. Some other skills that you can do with nursery rhymes. This is good for some of your older children. If you write the rhymes on sentence strips and put them in a pocket chart and then make a duplicate copy and cut it apart, then it's like little puzzles and they can match the words up with the words in the sentence. You can also make these little rhyme puzzles, and if you go online and you just, Google words that rhyme, there are lots of places. Pre-Kinders has some really good ones. I like her different pictures. But if you take index cards and you glue the words that rhyme on opposite sides of the index card, and then you put a little puzzle shape in between, they can match them up together. And this is self-checking because only the ones that rhyme will match together. You can also make lots of games with like mittens, where they put the ones that rhyme together and then use a clothespin to clip them together. And every time you use those clothespins, that's just so good for those little small pincer muscles. You can also do something like with socks, and they put carrot and parrot together and clothespin them together like that. A few other rhyming activities, and it takes a long time for children to learn how to rhyme, and some of the languages that children speak at home, they don't rhyme, and so that's why we have to do all sorts of overdoses at school and some different fun activities. So this one, show me your hands, it goes to Skip to my Lou, my darling. Sun, fun, those words rhyme. Sun, fun, those words rhyme. Sun, fun, those words words rhyme. Now let's rhyme some more. What are two other words that rhyme? Hat, cat, those words rhyme. Hat, cat, those words rhyme. Hat, cat, those words rhyme. They all end with at. So you could do this every day. You could take a different word and think of all the words that end with that sound, or you could let children suggest different words that rhyme and use them in that song. Another quick little rhyming game is called Detectives. Pinkies up. So I'm going to say two words. If they rhyme, you get to put your pinky up. If they don't rhyme, keep your pinky down. Bug, rug. Mouse, house. Got, from, and I always give it away. You can play rhyme ball, where you take a ball and you say a word and give children a few minutes to think of a word that rhymes with it, and then you throw the ball and they catch the ball and they say a word that rhymes. Another quick little rhyming activity is called riddle rhymes. So I'm thinking of something that rhymes with bear and you sit on it. It's a chair. And after you do many of these, children will be able to think of their own little riddle rhymes and put them together. One more thing I wanted to share with you is rhyme bag homework, and somebody shared this at a workshop I did, and I thought it was brilliant, that you just give children a little brown bag and ask them to find two things that rhyme and put them in the bag and bring them for sharing time. This is a good thing because it's going to help parents know, oh, they're working on rhymes at school, and then when they bring their things to school, they get to take them out and share them and tell the things that rhyme together. So I'm about out of time. I was told you shouldn't spend more than 15 minutes doing a Facebook Live, but I just wanted to end with a little thought today. There's so many things going on in the world, and just especially this week, to remind children you are safe at school. I love you. I will take care of you. We're going to have fun. We are all friends, and we're going to hold hands, and we're going to stick together. Take care. God bless. Have a great week.